Well, there have been so many mass shootings that they're difficult to keep track of. And we're supposed to just let them all sort of become something that quietly nags at us, but we're never supposed to do anything. But that's changed, hadn't it? People care now. It's a wonderful reaction to a horrible event. We have actually found the limit that the American population has for this nonsense. Oh, it's wonderful. We have 2 videos demonstrating this, covering it from 2 different perspectives. I don't think I'm going to play the entirety of all of them. I just want you to see how this is being talked about, and I want you to appreciate the fact that, my God, we might actually be making some progress here. Believe it or not, it's good news. It just comes from a very sad situation. So let's have a look at who's talking about this.
Under current Kentucky law, the assault rifle that was used to murder 5 of our neighbors and shoot at rescuing police officers will one day be auctioned off. Think about that. That murder weapon will be back on the streets one day under Kentucky's current law.
That was Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg at a press conference this afternoon talking about the AR-15 assault rifle that the gunman in Louisville had legally purchased just a week ago. A weapon the gunman used yesterday to kill 5 people and wound 8 more at a Louisville bank. The mayor's office is going to make sure that the firing pin is removed from that weapon before it's handed over to the state, which will make the weapon temporarily inoperable. But that is all the state law allows it to do.
Jesus.
The gun has to be handed over to the state, and it has to be auctioned off unless state legislators change the law, which means that another AR-15 will be back.
Just look at that for a moment. That's devastating. Devastating. You know, that would be a great protest to do. If you do have, for example, a garden full of flowers, and you don't have a ton of time, like you can't spend all day hanging outside your representative's office, here's something you can do. Especially if they're in Washington most of the time and they don't come to their office all that often. Go to their office with a bunch of flowers. Print out a list of the victims of mass shootings from this month. You know, how about just the Uvalde kids? How about just the folks from the last school, the Christian school that got shot up? And put little name tags on those flowers and just decorate. Just leave them outside, arrange them nicely, spread them out. But yeah, go to your representative's office and just leave that. Why not? Make them feel bad. You don't even have to announce it to the press or anything. Just keep doing it every once in a while. Every time, how about they vote no on a bill that would have saved these kids? Just leave them flowers. That'll be fun.
On the streets. Tonight, authorities in Louisville released body cam footage from yesterday's shooting that shows just how quickly the police were able to get to the scene and kill the shooter. There were 3 minutes between when the shooting started and when the police were called. There were then 3 more minutes between that call and when police got to the scene. And 3 minutes after that, the police had taken out the shooter. So it was an incredibly fast and brave response.
Let's just look at that again. Look at how terrified this guy is. This isn't slamming the cop. Let's look at this. Poor guy. Who knows if he signed up to be John McClane or to just write speeding tickets. But here, I got to get this assault rifle. 3 minutes between when the shooting started and when the police were called. Got to get this assault rifle. I got to run here. Balls over. I don't know if that was because he heard something or there was shots fired or what, but falls over, scrambles, approaches. I mean, how much are we going to ask from our police? I'm not particularly sympathetic to police that are in trouble because they broke the law. But I'm real sympathetic to the cops that are just trying to do the job and they have to deal with this. Good God. But look, don't let what you're seeing now, disturbing though it is, bum you out about this situation. If this pisses you off, it probably pisses other people off too. Now, I've never been accused of humility. But the numbers are the numbers, and the fact is, more people watch Alex Wagner than they do your old pal Jake. And a lot of people just saw this. And a lot of people are wondering why this cop has to battle for his life in a civilized country.
But again, in just those 9 minutes, the shooter had killed 5 people and wounded 8 more. Now, there is surely going to be a lot of talk about this shooter's motive and mental state, but I think the mayor is right to be focused on the gun here. This type of gun in particular, which is the AR-15. If you remember just 2 weeks back, the shooter at the Nashville Covenant School also used an AR-15. They killed 6 people, 3 kids and 3 adults, in less than 15 minutes. The Club Q shooting that killed 5 people last year, also an AR-15. The Highland Park parade shooting last year on the 4th of July, that was an AR-15 style weapon. Uvalde, an AR-15. Buffalo, an AR-15. Of the 10 deadliest mass shootings since 2012, 6 of them used AR-15 style weapons. And even if they were not using the specific gun, all 10 of the deadliest mass shootings since 2012 used semi-automatic weapons with what are now known as large-capacity magazines. They're probably what you think of when you think of an AR-15, the giant curved part coming out of the bottom that holds the bullets.
Oh, you know what? Wagner's doing so good. Why would I stop her?
Vietnam War, U.S. soldiers used magazines with 20 bullets in the war.
I mean, it's hard to ask for better than that. Pointing out what the problem is. Yeah, literally guns that outpace what we used to fight the Vietnam War with. Hold more bullets. Good God. And I realize there's your gun aficionados may have additional opinions for this or that with it. But the fact that we're even measuring this close with which gun was the deadlier, I mean, doesn't that just make the point? That wasn't all, though. I want you to, and I apologize to Brian Tyler Cohen if I don't actually show the part where he's talking, because I couldn't find this clip in isolation otherwise. But Brian Tyler Cohen played a clip of a Fox reporter, just a correspondent, just saying it like it is to the Fox audience. To the Fox audience. I was quite correctly corrected the other day because I was saying the 67% was the Republicans. It's not. 43% or 42? Let's go low. 40. Let's just say 40% of Republicans voters want gun reform. That's still millions and millions of GOP voters. So now, imagine, is that percentage going to go up or down after this?
Fox News, from what I understand, that this shooter had phoned a friend and said that he was suicidal and that he was going to shoot up a bank. If that is the truth, then I think that we need to again look at what is going on in our society. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Well, that's not the definition of insanity. He's making a good point. I'm just going to put this pin in here because no matter how desperate and important the situation is, if I'm going to nitpick, it's going to be 100% of the time, even if I agree with what the person's saying. But yes, it's even if it's not the definition of insanity, it's madness to do nothing and expect a different result. The thing is, they don't expect a different result. They just want you to get used to kids and civilians of all stripes getting gunned down.
Just 2 weeks ago, I stood in front of a camera where you had some kids, some babies, shot in Nashville, Tennessee, with a person who, by the way, had an AR-15. And from what we've been told here, Neil, this individual had that same kind of a weapon. And when you look at mental illness, if...
Hold on. Now, just what did we watch before? What was Alex Wagner on Fox's cable or network television, I guess, opposite, saying? The truth. It's the guns. We have military guns in the hands of just anybody that wants them. We have guns that we would not let a boot camp recruit use on day one until they've had instruction from somebody. In the hands of civilians. In a lot of places, zero training required, zero licensing required, no responsibility needed in order to own it. In other words, you don't have to be responsible to be a gun owner. I don't even want to give my opinion on responsible gun owners. I will because I've now mentioned them specifically, but I feel like it takes away from the point. My opinion on responsible gun owners, I've never had beef with them. Not once in my whole life. Why? Because I mostly don't even know who they are. I know one person in our audience. I'm sure there are more that are responsible gun owners. But it simply doesn't come up. Why? Because their gun isn't just sitting on the kitchen counter. Because they have it stored safely. Because they treat it like it's what it is. An incredibly dangerous device. Fox and MSNBC have now featured segments that focus on the problem, which is the fact that, yeah, we do have people in our society who are crashing hard. And when they crash, they can reach out and pick up an assault rifle.
Mental illness is involved here. And that weapon, that's a dangerous concoction. And we've got to do something in this society, Neil. I am sick and tired of standing in front of a camera. Neil, you and I have been on numerous occasions where people, young people, have lost their lives. 4 people left home this morning, and 4 people are not coming home tonight. That is something that we need to take into consideration. And when the governor says we shouldn't talk about certain things now, well, then I have to disagree with the government. We have to talk about guns. AR-15 are killing our babies and our citizens in this country, and we've got to do something about it.
So I'm going to freeze it there for a moment because credit where it's due. Brian Tyler Cohen, or his editor, or whoever the hell, found that clip and highlighted it yesterday. And he goes on to do 6 more minutes of commentary that was fantastic. I've linked to the Brian Tyler Cohen video in the description. Check it out if you're interested in this. I thought it was damn good. But what I wanted to show you were the fact that we have got two major networks on opposite sides of the political aisle as far as network news is concerned, or just television news is concerned, saying the same thing, and by God, it happens to be the truth. And what's that sound? Can you hear it? Well, that's the pain train, baby. It's coming for the NRA. I mean, I realize it's a dark thing to be happy about, but the reality is this stuff, I mean, why are we brought down by it? Why does it bum us out in the first place? Because it happens again and again and again and again. It was happening. It's been happening. Decades now. Constant. What I haven't seen is a Fox News commentator blowing up on air and saying, "What are you talking about? It's the AR-15." The same night, or within a few nights of that, freaking Alex Wagner is over there saying, "Okay, you latte liberals, here's the problem. Here's something we got to get serious about." And laying it out. Excellent. Just excellent. Overall, I think this is a sign of the Overton window changing on this significantly. Of course, to give us our best shot at real gun reform, vote in primaries. Vote in primaries. Go as left as you can. You know what? If you're a Republican, vote in primaries. Go as centrist as you can. Go for reasonable human beings. And when you're explaining to your friends and family who may ask about why you're choosing to vote blue in 2024, if that's what you're doing, explain this. Look, there's dead kids in schools. There is no reasonable gun reform, and there's no demand from the government that, just like somebody who's allowed to operate a car out in public, there's no demand that gun owners be responsible gun owners. There's no regulation for our militias. So explain that. And I believe you will sway folks to the side of sanity. At least I hope so.